with green. Black hand in the top left side, it's green 0. And as the purple Traveler 59 in the bottom right side, this is MasterLeaf. Alright, Traveler 59, Black Hand, a classic matchup, potentially the battle of the OPs, but different sorts of OP. Black Hand is typically a little bit more strong in their just straight up spam, in their infantry, and just their crazy amounts of units. And then, on the other hand, Traveler 59, MasterLeaf complaining about lag, as all players do. I mean, you just can't get a perfect con with Kane's Wrath. But at any rate, MasterLeaf, he's known for a number of things. He used to be known for playing quite lame, lots of Eradicator Hexapods sort of teleportation strategies. He doesn't do that nearly as much anymore. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I saw him, like, seriously hexa-lame in a game. But Advanced Articulators has finished up, and that Stasis Chamber is right there. Here come the Disintegrators. Is this actually going to be 6 squads? It's hard to tell exactly. Green Zero is going to be getting eyes on this right about now, and that's a Harvester building. That is not a buggy. Even if it was a buggy, would it actually be enough? Oh, he's actually going for an Operations Center to sell off for that Black Hand squad, but can Unleashed, and can MasterLeaf, rather, just kite around that Operations Center? We will have to see. He's running right past it. He is going to be getting a couple of shots off there, and a couple of those Disintegrator squads do get just absolutely roasted away. The Crushes are coming in. One of the Harvesters does go down. Green Zero, is this going to be all right for him? 2 Harvesters already out for Unleashed, and at the same time, Green Zero has the 1 Harvester left. It is going to be getting focused down relatively quickly here. It's trying to go for those repairs. Another Black Hand squad going to be coming out there. The Harvester does survive. Unleashed, MasterLeaf loses all of his squads, and the Harvester lives, but he was able to snipe 1 Harvester down. That was a lot of Disintegrator squads, though, like 6 Descent squads. Definitely very powerful, but also pretty expensive this early in the game. Quick move of that MCV for Green Zero. 3 Harvesters out for MasterLeaf, and the second one popping out there for Green Zero. Also taking a little bit of loss in mining time, which can be very important, but Green Zero, he is moving directly out across the map. Of course, neither one of these players was completely crippled by that. Green Zero may have taken a bit more just in the economics, but I'm not actually sure, because of course Harvesters are 1,600, but I have a feeling that 6 Disintegrator squads is going to be a lot more than that. Are they 600 each? Which would be 3,600 credits. That's a lot of cash in those Disintegrators. I mean, as long as you're able to recover with it, with that economy, then you're going to be doing all right with that 4 and 2. Cabal Squad going to be coming in here, getting the eyes for Green Zero and seeing just what exactly MasterLeaf is up to after a series like that. And I mean, Green Zero, he's moved his MCV about halfway across the map. He's going right for this kind of third base location. This does mean that he can fall back to this field for a kind of safe expand, and then he has this area to use as a buffer zone. Other than that, I mean, the follow-up is just going to have to be more harps for Green Zero, but MasterLeaf, on the other hand, we'll have to see what he decides to do. He's actually going to be reproducing that portal, 2 portals, actually, and those are cultists. Oh, man, some mind control fun coming out from MasterLeaf. And whether you love or hate mind control, this is what's going to be happening. There's the Black Hand squad revealing the cultists, but it's only actually 1 cultist squad, so it's mostly just Disintegrators. But Green Zero knows that. He was able to get eyes on those Descent squads. He knows that it's coming. It's Advanced Articulator Descents, though. And there's going to be the start of the Black Disciple upgrade. Maybe not. He's actually not started it just yet. We'll have to see. He's pooling the cash a little bit here. The Synths might just be able to go around these Shredder turrets. I mean, you can try to fence in your entire base with Shredder turrets, but that's going to be a lot of power plants needed to do that. That's kind of what Green Zero is starting to do. Black Hand Squad does get eliminated. That does free the Cultists up for an alternate unit to go ahead and mind control. More Shredder turrets going to be coming in here. MasterLeaf going to be taking a lot of damage. That's a lot of Descent squads getting eliminated. I'm not sure if this is going to be worth it. A definitely high aggression game as Green Zero posturing very offensively in this match. And after that, MasterLeaf is like, well, you want to go ahead and defend up your kind of expansion here in the middle of the map? Well, I'll go ahead and take out your Harvester, move around, and then go for the Harvesters at your main base. More Descent squads heading out across the map. And MasterLeaf, he just needs to play eco after this. He just needs to expand and then kind of follow it up with harvesters, make sure he's got that economy going and rolling. Because that's the thing, is like when you're doing a strat like this, you have to be careful that you don't just let your macro at home slip. This harvester almost getting eliminated. It does not die. It does survive. Shredder turrets on the left side of the map will be protecting these last two harvesters, and these descents just are not doing very much damage. Green Zero is defending pretty darn well, and MasterLeaf has set himself up with an expansion, but is that going to be enough to match the output of Green Zero? Now this field right here is very telling for MasterLeaf. As you can see, he's harvested about 90% of his field. Green Zero about 50% of his starting field. So we'll have to see if MasterLeaf is able to hold off the pressure coming in from Green Zero. It's only a couple of rocket squads mostly. Of course, they do have that Black Disciple upgrade, which means they will be able to do a bit more damage than your average rocket squad, especially to the infantry units of MasterLeaf. But it's pretty much all infantry coming out from MasterLeaf. And unfortunately, Green Zero, since he did choose Black Hand, that means that it's going to be just a lot of no aircraft. Just a lot of stuff on the ground. And of course, Venom's going to be Bonus's choice to deal with the cultists and the descents of the last game versus Unleashed that we did see. By the way, Spartacus is casting the rest of that series. And man, there's just more and more cultists out on the map. MasterLeaf pressing on forward. Green Zero starting to kind of get that economy back up and rolling, although he hasn't been able to establish it as he would like. Again, MasterLeaf has expended quite a few resources trying to get himself in a better position, but I don't know exactly if it's going to be worth it. We do have descents moving out again on the left side, kind of to the north side of the map, but moving to the left side to Green Zero's starting location. But there's more and more Shredder turrets. They need to just swing down around to the south, maybe even snipe down this spike before heading up north, or even heading back south down over here to try and hit this base. And that is actually what MasterLeaf is going to be doing, forcing Green Zero to kind of reposition his units, or his base defenses, when and where he can. Black Hand, no, it is going to be a Confessor Cabal squad, gets nabbed by those cultists. And not too good for Green Zero. A lot of these units are just getting mind-controlled. We'll have to see. Of course, this is the preliminary final, which means whoever does lose this series, this is a best of 5, by the way, whoever does lose this series is out of the tournament. A tip spike does go down. Descents getting eliminated all over the map. Lots of rocket troopers and the cultists coming in. There is going to be the mind control of just mass amounts, and at that range, those rockets are not enough to eliminate those cultists. And oh my gosh, MasterLeaf actually controlling a couple of Black Hand squads isn't going to be able to, Black Hand units rather, isn't going to be able to quite get the damage output that he needs on that army. But Green Zero locking down a lot of these attacks, just Shredder turrets being so good at eliminating the cultists, at eliminating those Shredder turrets, or eliminating the descents as well. And cultists can't really do too much versus the holograms of Green Zero. I mean, they can, I don't know, what happens if you if you mind control a hologram? Like, does it just disappear? Does that count as DPS? Of course, the holograms can't really do any damage, but they can pretend. They can kind of distract MasterLeaf and try to keep him from actually capping the real units of Green Zero. The Prodigy is out on the field. No Eradicator Hexpod just yet. The Warp Chasm isn't out either. However, we do have quite a few Gunwalkers being mixed in here. Definitely a good idea. He's not Reaper 17, so he doesn't get Shardwalkers, but Gunwalkers are pretty good regardless, and this is kind of the hard counter to what Green Zero has. Just a lot of Gunwalkers moving forward, eliminating all of these infantry, and they're going to be able to press on forward. Green Zero going for the tech up, potentially for the upgrades. I imagine it will be charged particle beams. Of course, he could be going for tip core missiles, but that would not really be benefiting him all that much. Gunwalkers moving forward, they're just absorbing the shots. Green Zero is not retargeting on the 3 in the back that are actually doing the damage. He's more concerned about splitting his units and trying to avoid the crushes, which is definitely more important in this scenario. Powers down that Hand of Nod, and this flame tank is going to be getting caught in a little bit of a Sim City. The Prodigy grabs it, going for the MCV most likely. Shredder turrets right on the front line. Those charged particle beams are not going to be enough. Green Zero cannot get the defenses down in time to stop the Prodigy. The Prodigy running all the way back out across the map. This flame tank is virtually untouched. Power plant after power plant going down. No, MasterLeaf is deciding not to go for those power plants. Turns around, and actually Green Zero does control that. I'm not actually sure what happened to the Prodigy. I did miss that. But the Prodigy is not going to be controlling that flame tank anymore. Green Zero trying to escape with it. Throws down the Redeemer engineering facility. And he's going to be looking to pump out that epic unit. An absolutely crazy move. Not a crazy move, but a potentially crazy move just in terms of tank ability. Because he'll have one thing out on the map that can absorb so much damage and won't be mind controlled. The Eradicator Hexpod is already out. There's nothing inside of it. So no extra damage output for that, but where is that flame tank? It's up north here. Green Zero, is he going to be able to just push in and kill MasterLeaf with this flame tank? MasterLeaf doesn't have a whole lot in the north to deal with this, but his drone ship will be spotting it if he's paying attention. He doesn't really have too much. Well, he does have 2 Corruptors. But, I mean, he might be forced to pull the Eradicator Hexpod, which would allow Green Zero to do whatever he really wants. 2 Harvesters get teleported back, those cultists being so annoying, and the Warp Chasm will be going down, or nearly. No, there's the cap from the Prodigy. The teleport does happen. A couple of Harvesters. Is that 2? That is 2 Harvesters, right? Yeah, that's 2 Harvesters right there from Green Zero. The Eradicator Hexapod moving on forward. Green Zero knows about the expansion from MasterLeaf, but can he actually stop it? 3 Gunwalkers do get pulled back, and that flame tank, in the end, it ended up getting controlled by MasterLeaf anyways. And he will be sacrificing it. He doesn't care about this unit. He doesn't care about whether or not it's going to be doing any real damage. Green Zero paid for it twice. Once when he bought it, and once when he had to kill it. So definitely a crazy, wonky game coming out from both players. There's a sell-off of that refinery. Green Zero doesn't want to maintain that build radius. He wants the cash more than anything. And he can go ahead and reestablish himself at this southern expansion and then let this field regrow, keeping eyes on it, eventually moving back up there with a refinery to re-expand. But Corruptors are moving out. MasterLeaf going for that Hexapod. We'll have to see if it's just going to be a lot of Hexalaming. Some players do say that that's pretty much the only way to win late game versus Black Hand, because they've got so many just powerful options that you have to go, you know, some sort of mass mind control, teleporting Hexapod to absorb the damage, because tripods just get broken apart far too quickly. Mechapedes can get focused down really quite easily by top level players. There's going to be the temporal wormhole, I do believe, as it drops down, and actually maybe it's stasis wormhole or something, and the fake Temple of Nod coming out from Green Zero. The beam cannons also being mixed in, a very powerful unit against epic units. I don't know why he moved so far forward with them. Likely just a little bit of a misclick. MasterLeaf going for the mass crushes, and Green Zero trying desperately to get the Redeemer out of the stasis chamber. He's trying desperately to break free. The Rage Gen does go off. Those Corruptors already focus firing on that Eradicator Hexpod. If he can kill any of the Corruptors, that would be nice. Devastator warships also moving forward. The new point of interest, this little part of the map. If MasterLeaf can start getting the damage output from the Devastator warships on the main base of Green Zero, that would be changing things up. There's so many Corruptors healing this Eradicator Hexapod, and actually the Cultists going to be forcing the death of a couple of these beam cannons. Green Zero doesn't know what to attack. The Devastator warships doing the damage that they need to eliminate those beam cannons one after the other. Green Zero up against the ropes. Can he hold on? The Eradicator Hexapod pushing on forward. The mind control tactics of MasterLeaf proving very effective. Not so much the Disintegrator rushing, but the mind control tactics definitely working out a little bit better. And that Redeemer, it's standing strong. And I mean, there's actually the Prodigy going to be moving forward. I don't know if he's going to be teleporting anything to the front lines, or if he's going to be looking to teleport the Eradicator Hexapod back. Did we actually ever know EMP coils never was researched? I mean, he got Charged Particle Beam, which is great, but he never got EMP coils. Is it going to be a Raider Buggy? No, it's an attack bike coming out of one of the war factories. There's no EMP possibilities on the map right now for Green Zero. He cannot stop this Eradicator Hexapod, but this tripod is here to start throwing down some EMPs if he gets the opportunity. Devastator warships raining down discs from behind the army, going to be helping to eliminate those obelisks. They do so much damage to buildings. The Prodigy again coming in from the north. I'm not sure what he was doing off to the left side of the map. There goes the Redeemer. Green Zero's potential last hope in this game. He does still have the economy, but his economy is not going to be matching that of MasterLeaf. He's swinging by with bikes. He's trying to do what he can. It looks like he smashed down one of those. Oh, he did go for Tib-Core missiles, not EMP coils, because of the big bike counterattack that he had planned. The sell-off of that, actually, was that a sell-off? That might have been the kill of that Warp Chasm. And MasterLeaf might be forced into a sort of base trade scenario. We'll have to see. The Prodigy coming back to try to area mind control and also mind control some of these other bikes. Eradicator Hexpod moving forward. He's going to be able to just eat up this the last power plant. There's a couple more back here, but still Green Zero doesn't want to be losing any power plants at this stage of the game if he can help it. Cultists getting teleported pretty much right onto the front line. There's 3 or 4 of them here to deal with the bikes. They do grab all 2 of those remaining bikes, so good moves there by MasterLeaf. And the Devastator warships, they're going to allow these base defenses to just get absolutely smashed. This is the best of 5, though. Green Zero is not out of this series. Instead, he is going to be doing just fine if he can come back in game number 2. Of course, MasterLeaf and Green Zero, they're both up against the ropes. Although MasterLeaf needs to make sure he protects all of these units. The Prodigy does grab that bike, and unfortunately for Green Zero, just bikes are not very good at killing Prodigies. That's just kind of how it goes. I don't think this Eradicator Hexpod has been teleported once in this game. We'll see. This is only game 1 of a best of 5, though, so whoever wins this game, it's not over. The other player does have an opportunity to make a comeback. We're going to be seeing 3 games for sure. It could be a 3-0 either way. Whichever player loses out of the tournament, the other one will advance to the semifinals to play State of the Union. No, actually, to play Bike Rush Owns. And then on the other side of the bracket, Bonus versus Unleashed. Whoever wins that series advances to play State of the Union on the top side of the bracket. But it's absolutely very difficult. The GG comes down. Green Zero has been defeated, and MasterLeaf takes a 1-0 lead in this series. An exciting game 1, I'll give you that. I know some people are not going to be happy about the tactics that MasterLeaf used, but there was no hexalaming in there. There was a lot of mind control, which is so annoying to play against, but you got to hand it to MasterLeaf, controlling very well with those cultists, not losing a whole lot of them. Descent's going to be the favorite unit, and that will wrap up game number 1. Of course, game number 2 is going to be coming up relatively soon here. Spawning as the green GDI in the top left side of Twisted Rift, it's Green Zero. He's down 1 game. He needs to start bringing the pain versus our pink Reaper 17 player in the bottom right side. It's MasterLeaf. If he opens Descents again, I'm going to be very surprised. Okay, he's going buzzers. 2 buzzers, no Descents thus far. That's a little bit more standard. That's more of what you would expect. And I would say one of the most important things for both of these players is just scouting, is just getting eyes on your opponent. Making sure that you know what they're doing. As you can see, MasterLeaf splits up his buzzers really quite nicely. 1 or 2 actually down to the south. It looked like 1 for a second there. 2 every other direction. That's what you need. And he may not actually... That was a nice split by Green Zero, getting just far enough away to make sure that he's able to eliminate those squads. And MasterLeaf may be relying on his southern squads to get the scout off for him. Refinery follow-up for both of these players. If it was anything other than that, I would be wondering what exactly they are doing. I mean, he could have been... I don't even know what MasterLeaf would do as Traveler 59 if he went for something like Stasis Chamber. That just wouldn't even make very much sense. But War Factory coming down for both of these players, and the first unit out for each of them. Harvester for MasterLeaf, Harvester for Green Zero. And, I mean, this is not Steel Talon versus Reaper 17, which would be the heaviest, toughest Harvesters in the game. But the shielded Harvesters from MasterLeaf will be absorbing an extra couple of shots. And one thing that Green Zero can do is just start attacking these Harvesters with his Rifleman squad. Because shields really don't absorb too many shots, but, like, absorbing 1 shot from an Avatar and a bunch of little shots... Well, okay, let's just use a Juggernaut. 1 shot from a Juggernaut and a bunch of little shots from a Rifleman squad. Like, they both might eliminate that shield, but they're, of course, different amounts of damage. So, I mean, the shields can be very important in absorbing just single shots, especially if they're EMPs, but that's not so much you have to worry about on Harvesters. Very few people actually EMP Harvesters, and I don't know that I've ever actually seen that. Mind games. I don't think that would qualify as a mind game at all. Expansions relatively quick from both players. 5 Harvesters for Green Zero, most likely the exact same for... Actually going to be 6, which means number 6 gets transferred up to this field, but it looks like MasterLeaf is going for that blue Tiberium. Typically, that's why you send them along this path, although we'll have to see. APC. Interesting, coming down from Green Zero, there's an Engineer. Is he going for the Tib Spike, or is he going to send this Engineer along the south side of the map? And look, to go for a very sneaky capture. We will have to see. Seeker tank will be getting out. And, I mean, these are Seekers that have, of course, attenuated force fields, and then, of course, shard launchers that you can get for them. Tier 2 and Tier 3 going to be those upgrades for MasterLeaf. Green Zero along the south side of the map. It is going to be that engineer. Of course, if he was going for the spike, he would probably take a little bit different of a route, probably something a little bit more centralized. But he did lose that rifleman squad, so that could have influenced his decision. He maybe was deciding to go for that, and maybe wasn't. But we'll see. Seeker tanks moving in, scaring away at least one of these harvesters. There's no refineries here either, which means they're going to have to be careful about what buildings they actually decide to run around. And I wonder if attenuated force fields is actually being researched right now for MasterLeaf. No, it's not. He does have the nerve center, which means he can purchase it. Green Zero powering down that refinery. All of the Seeker tanks are going down, and this attack pretty much has been cleaned up. Of course, he does have the repair drones on the front line just for that extra bit of life. Will he actually be getting any of those? Oh, he could have gotten the harvester potentially if he would have actually focused properly, but he did not. And as a result, that harvester will survive from Green Zero. Uh-oh, where's the APC? Here it is. Here's the APC. Let's keep an eye on that APC. We want to make sure that we keep eyes on it. Now, Green Zero was... Yeah, okay, MasterLeaf is looking over here, but did he actually see that APC? We'll have to see. I'm guessing he did. He might actually... He didn't send the buzzer down there. But he might. He might just tack the buzzer along just to be like, hey, I see you. I see you. Of course, it will get shot up by the... Oh, Green Zero. He may actually get away with this. That Mechapede is heading the wrong way. He does shoot the buzzer, which should alert MasterLeaf. No, it does not. MasterLeaf is about to lose his technology assembler. Will he get the sell-off? He does get the buzzer. Oh, he gets the snipe on that engineer. Great move there by MasterLeaf, lulling Green Zero into a false sense of security. Oh, that's gotta hurt for Green Zero. 500 credits and several minutes of planning down the drain. Reaper tripods out on the field. And I'm guessing this conversion reserve is being purchased. I mean, it could be shard launchers or blue shards. Man, that's 4,500 credits of upgrades right there. Conversion reserves, for those of you who are a little bit unfamiliar with Kane's Wrath. You see these Reaper tripods, they have an ability that allows them to absorb a bit of Tiberium and basically charge their primary weapon with a bit of Tiberium to do more damage. Conversion reserves allows them to do like that twice as much. I think they get twice as many shots off with those conversion reserves. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not sure. Uh-oh. Somebody trying to start some CNC4 hate in the chat. Oh, man. Is it going to be railguns following up for Green Zero? He doesn't have his tier 3 up just yet. He's going dual war factory, lots of predator tanks. Going to be a pretty good move, but versus Reaper tripods, not necessarily as good of a move. There's the scan. Kind of an interesting scan. I mean, it didn't reveal anything that Green Zero didn't already know, but it just reconfirmed everything that he already knew. So he knows there's no third base on the way for MasterLeaf, or there's probably not a third base. And wow, going for 3. Well, no, it's just dual war factory since he actually did sell off that warp chasm. He got out the Eradicator Hexapod. It's 3 shock troopers inside of there, which means hammerheads are going to be dealt with if Green Zero tries to go that route. Railguns are being purchased. With this many Predator tanks, it can pretty much only be railguns. Anything else would be pretty much silly. And one Corruptor is here. Green Zero wants to delay this attack as much as he can. As you can see, that is still a fair ways away. How long is the build time here? It's 1 minute 30, so it's not too long, but it's a heavy investment. Force fields are done for the tripods. Conversion reserves finished as well. That is going to be a lot of damage output, but it's only 1 tripod here for MasterLeaf. Green Zero is getting this around. He doesn't have railguns, though, which is a little bit unfortunate. And at the same time, expansion timing's relatively similar from both players. And there's the constant heal coming in from MasterLeaf. What is he following this up with? Is it just going to be more tripods, though? Green Zero, he's straight up GDI, but he doesn't have an armor facility, an armory, or a barracks, which means no EMP grenades. It would take 2 EMP blasts to lock down a Reaper tripod since they do have those force fields. Oh, MasterLeaf might actually be getting this around. He does freeze all of these Predator tanks, takes them right out of the battle. which will be allowing him to just sort of surround this army and get ready for mass EMPs and just mass destruction. Okay, maybe not. It looks like he's not actually going to be doing that. He could have done that, but... Alright, nothing else really. Okay, there's the railguns finishing up. MasterLeaf splitting his tripods a little bit there. This might be a bad situation for MasterLeaf. Getting surrounded by railgun predator tanks in these high of numbers could be a really good move here by Green Zero. He loses all of those railgun predators on the one side, and he's going to be losing a few more. Reinforcing tripods are going to be allowing MasterLeaf to do more damage, but Green Zero may have found the perfect angle. A complete surround of this Eradicator Hexapod. The follow-up is going to be the bigger question, though. Is the Eradicator Hexapod going to go down, and what is MasterLeaf? Oh, the phase field. I forgot about the one clicks. Nope, you got a perfect surround, but you don't get to actually kill the unit. So MasterLeaf will be keeping alive that Eradicator Hexapod. And there go those Reaper tripods. They're moving forward. The Sonic Emitter gets a nice shot off. The EMP is coming down. And this is cashback bonus for MasterLeaf. I mean, he's streaming more and more tripods. This is a lot of tripods. I thought for a moment there Green Zero might be able to get the upper hand with just the sheer amount of railguns that he had. But it's not meant to be, man. MasterLeaf with that phase field, able to keep that tripod alive. There's a rifleman squad getting sniped down. Did I miss something? Was there an inchy grab? I don't think so. Maybe that was just a distraction engineer. I'm not entirely sure. Like, the tier 3's there. Tier 2 is over somewhere else. Up here. Stasis chamber. Warp sphere isn't there anymore, but that's not too big of a deal. Tripod's clumping up. This is a good move by MasterLeaf. That's what he needs to do, is just clump up, kind of protect that Eradicator Hexapod. And Green Zero, if he can push these units back, this is actually a really undefended spot. MasterLeaf should just swing down here and annihilate all these harvesters. That would pretty much be GG for Green Zero, as he would have, like, he would go from good eco to pretty much no eco very, very quickly. We could see the Buzzer Swarm support power be coming down. Sonic Emitter does get thrown down, and this missile squad is fully heroic. This one Reaper tripod moving forward. He gets the EMP off. That Sonic Emitter gets eliminated. 300 bucks goes to MasterLeaf. The barracks is coming down, but unfortunately, again, no EMP grenades. And even if he did have them, it would mean that there would need to be 2 EMP grenades coming out onto the shielded units. Those force fields are just a little bit too good. MasterLeaf going to be going for at least some of those harvesters, trying to eliminate that eco for his opponent. Green Zero doing a good job of blocking with buildings when and where he can, but is it going to be enough? A Mammoth tank does get eliminated. Railguns not being enough to save Green Zero from the threat of MasterLeaf. And I mean, this is Reaper 17. This isn't even necessarily his quote-unquote best faction. Shardwalkers are out. They still don't have attenuated force fields, which just allows them to absorb an extra couple of shots. Also, blue shard launchers not here. Green Zero taking a ton of damage. His MCV getting focused so well. Does he have any ace in the hole? Does he have any tricks up his sleeve? It doesn't look like it. No commando out on the field. He didn't even get the armory up for that at any point, I don't think. But Green Zero taking a lot of damage. He's lost one refinery. MasterLeaf going to be pushing in more and more of those shard launchers, just getting the complete surround. The GG comes down. Green Zero is down 2-0. MasterLeaf takes a 2-0 lead versus Green Zero. And that cannot be feeling very good for Green Zero. Man, Reaper 17, some powerful units coming out from MasterLeaf. And Green Zero, I mean, it came down to a couple of those key engagements. I feel like Green Zero, if he would have gotten a little bit better of an angle and wouldn't... I mean, part of it was the one clicks. Like, the phase field, very, very powerful. That stasis chamber, very powerful. Eliminating those units from the fight and locking them out is a big deal, especially when you've got a surround like that. And, I mean, Green Zero took so much damage there. But in the end, MasterLeaf was able to pull out the victory as the green GDI in the bottom left side. It's Green Zero. He's down 0-2 versus the man in the top right side. He's from England, and he's feeling very good in this series. He's Black Hand. It's MasterLeaf. He loves playing as Pink as well. So we got Pink MasterLeaf versus Green Zero, who's GDI. GDI, Green Zero. Lots of G's, lots of green. Green GDI, Green Zero is probably the best way to put that. GGG for those of you who like alliteration. MasterLeaf, on the other hand, He's loving that pink. Alright, so for those of you who missed it, this is the Kane's Wrath World Championships, hosted by Kane's Wrath Online, of course, organized by Green Zero, Bike Rush, and some other people as well, including Cabal. And lots of donations coming in from lots of different people, but Green Zero and Bike Rush both donated quite a bit to this tournament. Of course, $700 go into first place, and we're going to know one of the people who's going to be taking first place today. We might not know exactly who's taking first place, but we're going to know at least what our options are for first place. Because, of course, we're going to be playing up through the semifinals. Are we going to be playing the grand finals? Well, that depends on the players. How good are they feeling? Are they tired? There's a lot of games that have to be played today. This is a best of 5, but whoever wins this has to play a best of 7. And then if they win that, well, regardless of whether they win or lose, they've got more matches to play another best of 9 after that best of 7. So it's a lot of matches, but that final best of 9 may be delayed. If it is delayed, I likely will not be live casting at all. Instead, I will be casting the replays. I know it's not a perfect solution, but if it gets delayed by 1 week, that's Easter. I will be away from my apartment where I live. Flame Tank comes out for MasterLeaf, and check that Pitbull out from Green Zero. There's the Reckoner, there's the sell-off of that Operation Sale Center. Everything gets spotted. Green Zero knows exactly what's going on. There are no secrets from Green Zero in this match, but how does he react? He's going to need Predator tanks or a lot of Pitbulls. Make your choice, choose one or the other. If you build rocket squads, I'm going to be wondering what you're doing in this game. If you just build rocket squads versus flame tanks. I mean, they do all right versus the flame tank. Versus the Reckoner, not so much, with 2 Black Hand squads in it, especially if they eject out. Leaf is like, I think he's not used to playing Black Hand, and that's why he sent that squad into the tib field. He's like, I can just send you into the tib field, right? Like, that's totally okay, right? I can do that. Like, you're not gonna die. You're gonna heal up because I'm playing Scrin, right? Flame Tank going for that tib spike, definitely a good move. And I mean, losing a Flame Tank for a tib spike isn't necessarily like a straight up good trade. No, but over time, that tib spike is going to be a lot of lost income for your opponent. Going for the refinery is going to be a good choice. There's 2 Predator tanks here. There's the tib silo for the block off. Instead, he goes for that power plant. He almost kills that tib silo, which means he can go ahead and kill it off and then finish flaming down that refinery if he gets the opportunity. Predator tanks, they're coming in for the crush. And Green Zero going to be dealing with this pretty well. We'll be losing one, Green Zero. He may be losing a second power plant as well. He doesn't have a watchtower quite ready just yet. He instead is going to be drafting an additional power plant. Might be forced just to sell this power plant off. He's trying to get a watchtower out to deal with the Black Hand squad. He does lose that power plant, so that's 2 power plants down. Really quite annoying for Green Zero. And Black Hand, of course, very powerful. MasterLeaf, what is the follow-up going to be? He's not going for an additional refinery, instead going for lots of Cabal squads. The sell-off of those buildings yielding him an additional Cabal squad, and he's also going to be getting that Black Disciple upgrade just to make sure that every single one of these squads has a Black Disciple Flame member in it. Pitbulls are coming in, but you know what deals with Pitbulls really quite well? It's Rocket Troopers. MasterLeaf playing this out really quite well, and I mean, he's got Predator tanks to deal with, which means, guess what? Militant Rocket Squads deal with Predator tanks really quite easily. So MasterLeaf is definitely going to be enjoying how this series is going. He's up 2-0. He can afford to lose a match. Green Zero has to win every match from this without dropping a single game in the next 3. And I mean, it doesn't come down to a best of 3 or anything like that. It's not like these players went 1-1 and then 2-2. It's 2-0 for MasterLeaf. He's feeling very confident, and Green Zero honestly might be getting a little bit tilted. I mean, in a way, this is his tournament hosted by his website, and if he gets eliminated in it, that's not going to be feeling too good for him, but he can definitely be proud of how well he's performed. Every single one of these players has done so well in this tournament. Of course, Unleashed and Vicrochones advancing through that group of death. Just absolutely crazy players, but every other player in this bracket had to face some absolutely terrifying opponents, and they won through. So that is certainly something to be proud of. And I mean, making top 8 in this tournament is no small feat when you consider the amount of people that signed up for it. Maybe I'm waxing a bit too poetical, but here's a lot of APCs. A good move by Green Zero. He's getting a little bit trapped here and may need to drop some mines just to delay those infantry that much more. But, I mean, that's the perfect move by Green Zero. Going for that AP ammo APC combo is so powerful versus Black Hand infantry. Transitioning into bikes can work. It depends on how many units there actually are. There's Predator tanks mixed in, which means the bikes are going to have a little bit of trouble dealing that damage and really staying alive. And I mean, these rocket squads are doing a pretty fair damage cleaning up the APCs, but the APCs doing a better job of cleaning up the rocket squads. There's the one click. One harvester will be going down. A second harvester, no. One harvester did go down, but it wasn't any of the two that I thought were going to go down. Instead, that Tiberium getting eliminated is quite annoying. But Green Zero has eliminated like 80% of that Tiberium. And by eliminated, I actually do mean harvested. Oh, the one clicks. MasterLeaf, absolutely brutal with those one clicks. We saw it in the last game. We're seeing it again here. The Reclamator Hub does come down. Green Zero is going to be needing to expand relatively soon here, as he's pretty much out of cash. But the same thing can be said about MasterLeaf. And the Reclamator Hub is going to be producing that Marv. Predator tanks and APCs. Unfortunately, no railguns for Green Zero. He doesn't have that. Yeah, he doesn't have that researching. That would be a lot of cash for Green Zero to be spending. MasterLeaf, I'm actually kind of curious as to why he hasn't expanded. I mean, he does still have Tiberium, and with that Seed Catalyst missile, the Seed Tiberium missile, he's got a fair amount that he can use this field for. I mean, that's a fair bit more of Tiberium. But oh man, that obelisk is going to be helping to lock this attack down so quickly. The APCs and Predator tanks overextending a little bit here. The last couple shots maybe sealing death for one of these Predator tanks. No, the majority of the forces do escape. Oh, the bikes coming in for MasterLeaf. Zone Raiders popping out, able to do some damage, able to eliminate some of those bikes, but one bike will still escape. Of course, you don't need like 18 bikes on this field to really saturate it and keep it healthy. But you do want those harvesters to stay alive so that you don't have to build as many to saturate your second, third, and any other bases that you end up getting. So losing those harvesters, is it game crushing right this moment? No, not necessarily, but that's more money that Green Zero has to spend a little bit later in the game to rebuild those harvesters. There's going to be the scout coming out from MasterLeaf, that squad that he placed much earlier in this game. I'm not exactly sure when, but I mean, he's got the scout. He knows when the expansion is coming down. Pretty late expansion timings from both players when you consider how much they've actually done off of one base. And they're both in pretty solid positions. I'd say overall Green Zero has less forces, but they're a bit heftier forces in comparison to MasterLeaf's units. But of course, Green Zero, he's got like, what, 1-2 harvesters left on this field. He can start long-distance harvesting, but until he really gets the refinery and more harvesters on this field, he is not going to be comfortable. Of course, with this army staging outside of this area, he's not going to be very comfortable at all either. I think it's just infantry squads taking a bit of damage up here in the north. As you can see, MasterLeaf, he's going to be able to transfer 4 harvesters or so over to this field. EMP coils has been purchased. Those Raider buggies, they are going to be able to lock down this Marv repeatedly, but Hammerheads are unaffected by EMPs. Also, is that Railgun squad still around somewhere? Because Railgun squads can be pretty good in dealing with EMP buggies, but only if your opponent is kind of not really focusing on killing off the Hammerheads with the EMP buggies or whatever units they may have. Rage Gen fires off. Green Zero is not going to be able to control any of its forces. Those Juggernauts are taking a lot of damage. Ooh, getting very close to getting eliminated. And the Marv trying to fire as many shots as he can. Of course, with the railguns inside of that Marv, they can get quite a few shots off and eliminate quite a few Raider buggies. As you can see, MasterLeaf just kind of trying to suicide in as many buggies as he can to try to get the shots off that he needs to lock down this Marv. Killing this Marv is absolutely paramount for MasterLeaf. A great counterattack here by Green Zero. All of the upgrades have already been purchased on this tech lab, so it's actually got limited utility since the Redeemer is already out. And I don't know if MasterLeaf was really planning on building too many avatars or stealth tanks at this point. Never mind, he's Black Hand, no stealth tanks for him. At the same time, he doesn't really have too many purifiers that he can build now since that tech center is gone. And again, eliminating these harvesters is nice, but it's not the end of the world for MasterLeaf. Losing the MCV, the GG comes down. MasterLeaf has been defeated. The pressure at the front he could not deal with, and that is going to be very good for Green Zero. Comes back 1-2 against MasterLeaf. Can he push it to a 2-2, or will MasterLeaf advance 3-1 in 10 action-packed minutes? We have an interesting story on our hands. Green Zero falling down in the economy for that game, but he had those power units out. Those GDI power units absolutely saving Green Zero in that game. Spawning as the Cyan Traveler 59, it's MasterLeaf. And as the green Black Hand, it's Green Zero. Now, Green Zero, we saw in game number 1, He went Black Hand versus Traveler 59. What's coming out of this portal? All right. I cannot say that I really expected that. That's what I expected. But at the same time, Green Zero was Black Hand versus Traveler 59 in map number 1 on Tournament Stadium. Not necessarily something that you would expect to see right out of the gate until you consider that, of course, MasterLeaf is known for going Traveler 59, and Green Zero, while Black Hand isn't his favorite faction, he's still very powerful with it, he understands it, and he knows how to play it. And I mean, going into the series, you don't want to give anything away in game number 1. Advanced Articulators researching. Actually, is it already purchased? Yeah, it is. Man, that is such a fast upgrade. Is it a 30-second upgrade? It must be, yeah. 30 seconds, 1,000 credits. I think someone said that Disintegrators are actually 300, which makes this attack a lot more cost-effective if Disintegrators are 300. Because that's only 1,800 credits plus an extra grand for the Stasis Chamber, and an extra grand for that, or is it 1,500 for the Stasis Chamber? At any rate, it's actually not that expensive for these descents. There's going to be the Shredder truck. Oh, forced to sell off the War Factory and the power plant. Green Zero maybe dropping down the 3rd map right here, right now. We'll have to see. He has sacrificed quite a bit to stop this attack. He has stopped it. He lost 1 Harvester. There's another refinery, and his 2nd Harvester is now out on the field, but his War Factory is severely delayed. He's currently sitting on those 2 refineries, though. And MasterLeaf, he sells off the Stasis Chamber, getting a little bit of cash back for that. And MasterLeaf sitting on those 3 Harvesters now versus the 2 of Green Zero. He's got to spend 2 grand to get that War Factory back up, then another 1,600 to get back up to that 3 Harvesters. I mean, right now it's basically like he just built these 2 refineries and no War Factory, except for he's got a lot less money. Man, that Descent Rush, very powerful. And on top of that, MasterLeaf actually got both of those spikes. Wow, MasterLeaf going so well in this game. There's the 2nd power plant and the early expand coming down from Green Zero. He's wasting no time. He needs to eco as hard pretty much as he can. MasterLeaf might get a Gunwalker, or he could just draft a Buzzer Hive. It depends on what he wants to do. And brings up the additional Buzzer. Of course, he's going to be parrying that Buzzer with that Gunwalker. Gunwalker, not necessarily the most efficient path for crushing, but really, let's not talk about crushing efficiency. No repair coming down for MasterLeaf. He's going to be losing that Tib Spike. Green Zero moving his MCV, but oh man, he doesn't actually have enough power off of those 2 power plants. I kind of thought you did to support all 3 buildings. Maybe not. Maybe it's with 2 power plants and the MCV. I forget these sort of details between Resolute 3 and Kane's Wrath. All right. 5 Harvesters, 2 refineries for MasterLeaf. 5 Harvesters, 2 refinery for Green Zero. So right now, going forward, relatively even economic footing. Of course, MasterLeaf got a little bit of an eco boost from that Tib Spike in the south, but also, just take a look at the minimap. The amount of harvested Tiberium for both players is not equal. Technically, the amount of Harvesters and refineries is equal. Actually, Green Zero could be getting a little bit ahead. No, he hasn't even started that refinery. But again, MasterLeaf is probably going to be getting his expansion refinery down before Green Zero does, because Green Zero has to focus... Oh, wait a second. There's no MCV cell just yet. Keep an eye on that Conyard, kids. It's dual War Factory. Is it Bike Buggy? It could be 3 buggies are already out. This could just be buggies to try to deal with the descents. Of course, buggies, if you keep them out of range, they can deal with descents. But if you let the descents in these numbers, get too close, then the descents can just ravage the buggies like the Ravagers or something. Oh my gosh, this is so many descents heading out across the map. We're going to be traveling with the descents. March of the descents all the way across the map. Sparta, or is this Earth? I can't tell with this many units on the map. And the buggies are starting to get swarmed. He should be going for the Harvesters, getting the ones that are harvesting. Oh my gosh, the amount of DPS from these Disintegrators is absolutely crazy. Shredder turrets getting thrown down, but they're in the wrong location. This is so much DPS. MasterLeaf doing a crazy amount of Harvester damage. Why is he attacking the buggies when the Harvesters are right here, right for the picking at the same time? MasterLeaf taking a bit of damage in the south here. This bike is going to be getting absolutely trashed. Goodbye, bike. Goodbye, descents in the north. Forced to pull Harvesters. And Green Zero lost 1 or 2 Harvesters in that attack, just taking so much damage from those early descent openers. And man, that is just so much damage output from Green Zero. from MasterLeaf, rather, against Green Zero. Cabal squads will be able to clean up a couple of these descents. And, I mean, Green Zero had an opportunity to try to go Trav 59 versus Trav 59. He could have gone any faction that he wanted. And this one Gunwalker, he's made it into the base. But this is the least of Green Zero's worries in this game, is this one Gunwalker. I mean, really, in this match, that's the least that you have to worry about. So many buggies heading out across the map. They might be able to curb the tail end of these disintegrators. It depends. Again, it's going to be forced onto the range. Green Zero going to be getting attacked a little bit here. One buggy does go down. Then he does get the surround on the Harvester, but really, buggies versus Harvester, the buggies will eventually win, but the key is eventually. Another buggy does go down. What's the... Not too many veterancy statuses going down on those disintegrators. For Green Zero, oh my gosh, that's so many Shredder turrets trying to deal with that with the Gunwalker. If Green Zero sells these off, that will be an absolutely huge mistake. He needs those to deal with these mass descents. Oh, poor Cabal squad member just gets owned. And MasterLeaf, the follow-up is pretty much exactly what you would expect, unless he's actually going for a Warp Chasm. He's tier 3, and he's got some Mechapeds out on the field, but this opener just allows MasterLeaf to pretty much do whatever he wants. MasterLeaf currently up 2-1 versus Green Zero. Green Zero taking game number 3. MasterLeaf opening with a 2-0. And if Green Zero can take this game number 2, that just swings the momentum into his favor. Well, Shard Mecha shows up to try to save this Harvester. The Harvester needs to get some repairs. He's going to go ahead and try to refine that blue Tiberium. The Shredder turret's keeping at bay these mass disintegrators. And they could actually swing in from another angle, but there's no completely clear angle. Green Zero has done a good job of keeping himself protected, and man, that Harvester didn't actually go down. Those buggies weren't able to finish it off, which of course is going to take them a long time to finish it off anyways. But Green Zero, he's spending a lot of time and money building base defenses, building power plants to power those base defenses, and not spending as much time building actual units to go out and do things on the map with. He's just getting cramped up into this corner, locked down and shut out by MasterLeaf. And it's working very well thus far. MasterLeaf could actually go ahead and grab that Tib Spike. I don't think he has an engineer on the map just yet. He could eventually go there for that. Stasis Chamber, where's the portal? Prodigy time. MasterLeaf could be getting a Prodigy out onto this map. And actually, he could park these disintegrators inside of the field, inside of one of the fields, possibly this field up north. Mechapede's coming in. They're going to be dealing a bit better versus... Oh, actually, this Flame Tank will be getting caught out pretty quick. MasterLeaf spots it, and he's like, hey, come back here. Okay, that Harvester, for a second, I wasn't sure if it was refining or not. 2 Harvesters will be going down. A third will get eliminated because... No, it won't get eliminated because MasterLeaf ran away with those Mechapedes. He's also playing the donate free units to Green Zero game, or trying to lull those buggies in a little bit too close. I doubt it was the lull the buggies in too close, though. Unfortunately for Green Zero, Isaiah going for a 1-click. This buggy could be a 1-click. Oh, the Prodigy locks that down. There's going to be the Tib Catalyst Missile over here, actually. Locks down 1 refinery. The Prodigy out. The Warp Chasm has been spotted. Green Zero should have gotten eyes on that. The Tib Chemical Plant. The 1-click's coming down. Oh, there's a Flame Tank, but it's not really hitting those high-value, big money targets. I don't think Green Zero had enough for the Tib Vein detonation. Otherwise, that would have been a good place to use it. And it is indeed going to be charged particle beams coming out for Green Zero. And I mean, again, like we saw in game number 1, a little bit of a repeat. If we end up seeing a lot of cultists coming out from MasterLeaf, there won't be a super good way for Green Zero to deal with it. MasterLeaf grabs that Flame Tank just in time. MasterLeaf not able to really let anything slip by him. Green Zero just getting stopped at every turn. But Black Hand, they have no air options. They don't have Venoms. They don't have, they just don't have anything to deal with that. Vertigo's, technically could deal with cultists, but that wouldn't be the best option. But it's not like he's playing Nod, or even Marked of Kane, where you can get supercharged particle beams for those Venoms. He just doesn't have anything to really deal super effectively with these descents. If he kites well with buggies, that can deal with descents just fine. But that's what you're relying on, is kiting super well with your buggies and not making a mistake, which is a difficult position to be in. Interestingly enough, Green Zero doesn't actually have Black Disciples, the upgrade. He instead just got the charged particle beams. Of course, that is versus the Tech Lab instead of the... Oh, another Harvester goes down. It's the Tech Lab versus the Secret Shrine. But Green Zero, most Black Hand players do go for that. The Redeemer Engineering Facility, is it going down? The Engineer gets sniped, but that's the smallest victory Green Zero could have asked for. Eliminating a couple of these Mechapeds would be a much bigger deal. And oh my gosh, this Prodigy is getting hunted down. There's the teleport. I'm not sure where the flame tank was. Ooh, the Quell Squads catch out a cultist. Nice move there. Oh, I wish I could click on that Prodigy. The Annihilator Tripod will be able to deal with the Raider Buggies really quite easily, even if these were EMP Raider Buggies, which they're not. He might be getting EMP right now, but it's not going to stop the Prodigy. It may stop the Annihilator Tripods if he can get in close enough, but that's just not a super good trade. MasterLeaf needs to think about a third base. He really does need to start expanding up to this middle field, take that, secure it for himself, and then plan for the later game. Eradicator Hexpod moving in. It's got one Shock Trooper squad inside of it. He's going to be moving in. And unfortunately, Green Zero has no real answer to this army. Repeat EMP Buggies could be the answer if he can get the DPS off, but he's got like 4 or 5 rocket squads. It's not quite going to be enough. We'll have to see once the Annihilator Tripods work their way across the map, or even the Cultists, things could really be changing. There is going to be the Stasis Chamber, Stasis Shield, Temporal Wormhole, whatever it's called. I think that's Stasis Chamber. I don't actually remember anymore. But Eradicator Hexpod will get repeat EMP'd. The Mechapeds are staying just outside of range, but you know what doesn't get EMP'd? It's actually going to be the Disintegrators rolling up to the front line to save that Eradicator Hexpod. The Obelisk is just barely able to get some shots off, and those Eradicator Hexapod buddies are just a bit too powerful. The Shredder turrets go down, Cultists on the front line. The Wormhole does wear off, and MasterLeaf may eventually get pushed back, but it's going to take so much damage output from Green Zero to push this army back when you've got the Mechapede to tank so much and also get repairs right on the front line with those repair drones. There's just not a lot that MasterLeaf can be stopped with by Green Zero in this game. If Green Zero had a bigger army, if he hadn't been hurt so much, so badly in the early game, we would be talking about a different scenario. If he had more production facilities, more eco, more harvesters, he just doesn't have enough of anything, and MasterLeaf will smash on through. It's going to take a miracle again, pretty much the likes we haven't seen before, for Green Zero to come back in this game against all this DPS. He moves forward, he snipes down one of those Annihilator Tripods, but on the back end of this, MasterLeaf is expanding. He's getting that expansion up and running. 5 harvesters, 6 harvesters, 2 refineries, and Green Zero loses another harvester. The Obelisk is on the front line, and that is just simply not going to be enough to really make sure that he survives against this attack. And there is going to be that Eradicator Hexapod stomping all over everything. Moving forward, Green Zero throws down the GG. That's it. Green Zero drops down. The preliminary finals have been decided. I'm not sure who won Unleashed versus Bonus, but MasterLeaf has beat Green Zero. State of the Union, 3-0's Green Zero. Green Zero 3-1 versus MasterLeaf. In game number 4, the deciding game, MasterLeaf comes through in a crushing victory. And unfortunately, Green Zero just got crippled early on, and that was pretty much the end of things. It wasn't an all-in, interestingly enough, from MasterLeaf. I mean, it's a high-aggression cheese, but it's not actually quite all-in. He follows up from it really quite well. MasterLeaf, as you can see, pretty much doubling the economy almost exactly of his opponent. A little bit more than double, but pretty close there in total resources. That'll be doing it for this series. We're going to be jumping into some more maps